not be live, Steven. I thought I was live.
I think you are, but I don't know. My phone and my computer are two different things, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, I'm still getting used to this and new, so hopefully everybody heard that good stuff that I was running off the mouth about a minute ago because I was working it. I thought I was. Good morning, Bebop, and yeah, thank you again. So yes, I like Sam Darnold. I think the one thing that killed him was when he came out and he said that he sees ghost on the field. I think that really that made him look bad. And then he's been on a couple teams, and if I'm correct, when Baker left, he was the starting quarterback again. I think Baker beat him out and took his position from him. But when he left, Sam Darnold kept the Panthers in contention, didn't he?
But I mean, the guy was honest and said he had a concussion and seen ghosts. Like, how much do you hold that against him? You know what I mean? I mean, like most players are like, "Oh, I'm a football guy. I'm going to be tough and all that." But like, that does happen. People don't admit it, but it does happen.
Yeah, and I think that's true. That's very true too. If the guy comes out and he says, I'm injured or there's something, just because he's the first round pick, I know teams want to roll and they want everything to go good. But if somebody's hurt, you definitely need to dial it back and let that guy have some time. It kind of like what happened with Tua. They just keep pushing him out there, and the guy's clearly been hurt. So that's a good point. What else?
I mean,
What else do you think about like Javon Hargrave? Do you think that was a nice steal from the Eagles, or were you excited about that, or what are your thoughts?
coming out of the season, I didn't want any of the Eagles the D line because they were all over 30 and 10, 15 mil plus. Personally, I would have rather have kept Jimmy Ward because they made him play special teams. He's a zone setter, a tone setter, and like 22 million average a year. I'd rather pay Jimmy Ward 10 million a year to keep that camaraderie. You know, because we have a lot of tight ends in our league that are pretty strong.
Yeah, I like the signing. I think it was very surprising because it was a big name splash. The one that hurt Brock last year, he was the one in our training camp. What's his name? Rajon Ridgeway, and he's the one who hurt Purdy, and it was really surprising because maybe it's just bad omen or something, going forward. We didn't sign him because we didn't give him a 2-year contract, so he goes to the Eagles, and then he ends up taking us out in the playoffs. But I would have been happy with him, but that's kind of like we should have done that last time. But with this signing, I'm pretty excited because it does give us an opportunity to really get nasty there in the middle. So yeah, I'm excited. There's just a couple more like after that we're looking at because a lot of guys on the line just left, on both sides. So now with us solidifying that DL, the defensive side, we're able to maybe potentially move up for a guard or something, or even a tackle, right tackle in the draft if maybe we combine some of the picks or something like that. I heard somebody say potentially if you put all three comp picks, 99, 101, and 102 together, we could possibly move up to the second, or we could possibly, yes, I think to the second, maybe to like the 17th pick or the 18th pick potentially, is that's the value. But regardless, the Niners, I'm expecting them to make some moves, either the draft or a couple more moves before free agency. But I'm really excited with we had to let some people go. Some people were on 1-year contracts. They had to go, or you have to re-sign them. And sometimes when they feel like they played really good, they think they earned a bigger bag, right? So let them go somewhere else and earn a bag, and we'll keep on being that factory. Because at this point, if we keep building linebackers and defensive linemen, we are a factory. So, what are your thoughts on any of the Raider pickups? Like, I'm not going to say his name right, but Salette Farrell, and then I think we got 2 Raiders from former Raider players, if I'm correct.
This is really weird because you just showed me my phone and my laptop are showing two different screens. And you talking at the same time, and you just showed a picture of me wearing a sweater from like a couple days ago. So this is really weird. But um, I think we're almost solid. We can't be solid at every position. Like no team is that way. You know what I mean? Like you just can't do it. And so I think we're in a pretty good position, which is get rotational players. And like I wouldn't mind taking a kicker in like the fourth, fifth round, and just showing up our whole team.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the missing pieces is like kicker. At this point, it's, to me, we need maybe an offensive tackle. We need a kicker and what, maybe a cornerback, maybe. I don't think we're going to be missing too many pieces. I think going into this draft with the amount of picks that we have, it's going to be best player available.
What's up, Korey?
So I have a banner down below, and yes, it's the players that were re-signed or currently picked up to a new addition to our team. Some of the players like Tabor Pepper and a couple other these guys have already been on our team, but like Sam Darnold and Isaiah Oliver, these are new additions. So, but if anybody has any questions too, throw them in the chat, and we'll try to get them up here. And we have this link in the chat if anybody wants to jump on and talk a little bit. If you have your coffee ready, or if you just want to talk 49ers, come on in. The banner, if anybody noticed, the future kicker is here. The Niners have found him. They're just going to have to wait a little bit longer if you've seen the thumbnail. Maybe potentially 2040 something, right? 2048 maybe. Me and Tony, we had a little baby boy the other day, and he's home now. So if you guys know me on Facebook or anything like that, you can see pictures there. But yeah, we're really excited. Really, really excited. And
Congrats.
oh man, dude, I appreciate it. And also, just moving forward, Steve-O, is there anybody right now that is still available besides Robbie Gould, of course, or somebody like that, that you would like picked up or the Niners to try to go after or, even talk to?
I think it's going to be a slow 2 weeks or whatever it is until the draft. I mean, we did a big splash. We don't have the money to do anything else, so it's going to be a slow few weeks.
Yeah, I didn't get everybody in that left. That was I was trying to push it all together, but I got the guys who we signed because I was pretty excited about that, and we did lose a couple guys. So Ty, if you want to start throwing some guys out there too, or if you want to jump on and let us know, because we lost a couple guys. The Lions are definitely going to be a better team. The Texans are going to be a better team. The Jets they look like they'll be a better team. So it's exciting. And this is one of those things. The Raiders, they might be a better team too. I seen a post and it was showing how many wins that Jimmy's got and how many that the Raiders have since Jimmy started playing for the Niners. And he's got more, he definitely's got more wins and he's got more playoff wins than the Raiders. So it's a lot of fun.
So, Bryant, I have
Yes.
Korey on my computer, but I don't have him on my phone. Is he on with us right now or no?
I don't see him in the chat. So I could drop the link again. Maybe Korey will see it then.
He's on my laptop, but not on my phone, so I'm really confused.
Yeah, I might have done something. I was trying to be slick when I dropped my intro and then I hit the live button. I think I hit the live button after I was talking. So I don't know how that happened. But again, this isn't a perfect show. I'm learning on the fly. You guys want to come in and talk? We can talk a little bit. If you want to hear a joke, I got jokes. There I got jokes. So
Love it.
So yeah, live jokes, right? So they're always happening. So, but once again, we got a couple things that we can talk about. I'm really excited that the Niners are pushing, and I know maybe it's not coming out in the media, but I think they're behind the scenes and they are giving Trey Lance every opportunity to succeed. Oh, and that's a good idea, a good question too. With tight end, are you thinking we're going to pick up a tight end? Are you considering us picking up a tight end in the draft, or even going after somebody in free agency?
Honestly, I think we move up to the 42nd-ish pick, so it'll be right tackle. But if we didn't, most of that is D-line or safety. So I think that's where we're gonna go. But with the Niners, you never know. But I mean, come on, like we don't start rookies to begin with, right? I mean, I'm gonna ask you to grade the Niners draft the last 2 years because we don't start rookies unless they're running back. So I want to grade on Kyle Shanahan as a drafter, and I can't really get one because you only have a few players to choose from. But
Yeah, so that's
I
one
see it
thing
going
too.
for right tackle.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one thing too. Is like he doesn't seem to trust not running backs. He doesn't seem to trust rookies. I think we had a rookie start on the line last year, or come in for a time. His name's escaping me at the moment. Again, I need to have my stats down a little bit faster. I'm not going off of that much sleep right now, folks, but we're rocking this. But the rookies coming in from the draft don't seem to play for a couple years, and it's like Ayuk. A lot of people said, "Well, Ayuk went into the doghouse." Well, there's probably a lot of things that happened because of that. He might not have been the best route runner. He might not have been blocking. There's a lot of things. So with that, there's other players too that maybe guards aren't pulling, or maybe they're not doing what they're supposed to do in the past, or they don't have everything down right away, so he doesn't trust him. So it's interesting to see, like, the only couple positions I really see him trusting, like you said, running back, maybe a kicker, yeah, maybe, quarterback. He didn't seem to trust a rookie quarterback, and maybe that's our maybe that's the dagger in the coffin right there all the way, because if he would have just started the quarterback a couple of years ago, we would have went through these growing pains already, and we're not there right now. So yeah, I would say it's really hard to grade his draft, because how can you grade something that's not playing? It's
Right.
just it's not able. You can't
We
give
do
that.
we do have Buford and Mason, and I think those guys were both B pluses. So I mean, it's hard to judge, but like you have to judge people by their draft picks, and like everybody was calling Banks a bust last year, and look, he had a solid year. So I mean, take it for what it's worth. And I apologize because I had the wrong screen up on my tablet. It was a video you had before, so that's why I couldn't get everything right.
I'm gonna add Ryan, and no worries. Good morning, Ryan. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Uh, Better after last night. Wow.
Oh, what'd you do last night?
Well, and I got tied one on last night, but then, like, I don't know, like around 2 o'clock in the morning, I got sick, right? And
Oh,
like it was weird. It's not like I was too drunk where I was like, got sick because of that. I don't know what it was, but I went and tossed my cookies, and it was only green beans and lung butter.
so much I don't understand
It,
right
like,
there.
well, like
Well,
what I ate earlier mostly got dissolved in my stomach except for the green beans, and the only thing left in my stomach after drinking was green beans and lung butter, and it decided that it didn't want the green beans anymore. It was fun times. Happy Saturday morning to everybody.
yeah. Well, I wanted to say thank you to Aaron for popping in. Yes, we have a new baby, and he's home. His name's Murphy. I think it's really kind of cool. We didn't think about it, but St. Patrick's Day and Murphy, and it all just came together. So he was able to come home yesterday, and everybody hopefully was able to have a nice beverage, or a nice drink, maybe a cup of coffee with their spouse, or just something nice to enjoy and celebrate yesterday. My family's Irish, so we get a kick out of the holiday, and I was in my green
Right.
yesterday, and hope everybody else was too. So
My daughter was born on Patty's Day, so I have green tattooed behind her, like my portrait of her on my arm. I've got green in the background, so I'm always set for Patty's Day.
that's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm
Well,
just a drinker, so it is what it is.
well, that makes you Irish, right? Everybody can be Irish on
Definitely part
everybody
Irish.
can. So, what are your thoughts, Ryan? I know we've talked in between, but I don't think I've really got to ask you. What are your thoughts on Sam Darnold? And I'm gonna throw out my joke again. Do you think he sees ghost, or do you think he's now a ghost buster and he can bust that?
Wait, sorry. Was you question was Sam Darnold?
Yeah, my question is what do you think about Sam Darnold? Are you afraid he still sees ghost, or do you think he's become a ghostbuster and he's past that?
So, as it sits right now, I think he still sees ghosts. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't got to camp yet. I think he's in a situation where he's feeling relieved because he feels that somebody's gonna come and take away his ghost issues. You know what I'm saying? He's not the Ghostbuster. Brian Greasy is.
Brian Greasy is. I agree. I think he has a good opportunity though, and I think this team can actually he can either push for the starting position if he gets his feet under him, or he might be able to go to another team in the future and really take off. So,
And I'll say this. The ghost thing, like, look, dude, I've got hit and I've seen stars, right? I didn't tell anybody like he did, but he did. So I give him credit for that because I wouldn't do that. But we got to remember where he came from. The Jets and the Panthers. And since I've been alive, they've only had one QB that had a Pro Bowl that I know of, and I'm 43. So, like, he's had a lot of offensive coordinators. So, you got to take that in consideration. And he's a QB3. Technically.
yeah. But he's very excited to be QB3 too. So I think he knows if he comes in, he has an opportunity. But that also gives you like a little bit more of a sense of calmness too, right? You don't have to feel so like rushed. You can take your time. You can sit back a little bit more and pay attention if you're a good student. Hopefully he's not the guy in practice with the Cheeto fingers and stuff, right? So
Nothing wrong with Cheeto
Right.
fingers.
Cheeto fingers, baby.
When you're a quarterback, you need to have clean fingers, right? Or you need to be able to,
Game day.
you need to be able
Game day, you need to have clean
right?
fingers. Game day, you need to have clean fingers. But if you're in the quarterback room, you're going over tape. What's the problem with having Cheeto fingers? As long as you're
If you're-
watching tape.
Well, you know what I'm getting at. There's times where you might have to grab the remote control and pause that film, and if your fingers are all cheesy, right? Well, so what's your feelings on Javon Hargrave? He's our next biggest surprise pickup, huh?
He's a bust.
That was amazing.
I'm excited.
You know what really got me is when in his interview, when he came in and he sat down and talked with the reporters and whatnot, he seemed, I don't know how to put this. He seemed kind of timid when he was talking. You know what I mean? And to me, that says that he's not going to be a loud, outspoken diva in the locker room. He's probably going to be another quiet guy that just says stuff when he needs to say stuff. And other than that, he's just going to put his head down and go to work. And those are the people that really excel in our program. And
Yeah.
I think not only does he have all those, because it seems like he turns a switch on the field. He goes from being timid to being a superhero. You know what I mean? And like, it's like he puts on his cape and he becomes somebody he can't be, on the street. And those are the guys I'd rather have than Javon Kinlaw, who is, a superhero walking around on the street, but is, pushed around like a child there on the field. And I'm not going to make excuses for why that is. You know what I mean? But it's just the facts.
I mean, I'm expecting big things from Kinlaw. I mean, like, honestly, if Kinlaw is the guy that we know he can be and he stays healthy, like, this is going to be a sick D line, man.
That's a lot of ifs. And
I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on the guy. I mean, I understand, but I'm not going to give up on him. I didn't give up on Trey Lance either. You know what I mean?
But we haven't seen as much from Trey Lance as we have Javon Kinlaw.
But I still feel the same about both of them.
No, hey, that's fine. I'm not telling you have to change your view, bro. That's not why we're here.
No, I like the ability and the opportunity Kinlaw has. He's a great story, phenomenal athlete. Just freak of nature, right? And if you see my size and his size, hey, he should be playing football, right? I should be like watching football, right? But like I have heart, right? So like, and I'm
Right.
not saying he doesn't have heart either, but I'm gonna make that push. I'm gonna make that effort, and I see he's doing the same thing. But there's something wrong. It's just physically. Maybe it's his knee. Maybe something's happening where oh, we have another friend. I'm gonna pop him in real quick, and I'm gonna continue on.
What up, David?
What's up?
fellas? I just heard you
Hey,
guys
David.
talking about Kinlaw. So
I got coming to talk shit.
seasons. It's been 3 seasons. The guy's knee has been a constant issue. He had surgery when it comes down to it, January of 2022, and that was supposed to solve the problems. But then during the season, he had liquid come in. I mean, Kinlaw has ability. He has talent. It's just his knee is holding him back.
Right
And
now,
the question is, can it be fixed? And there was a video of him running, but running on your own and wrestling with a 300-pound lineman or two are two totally different things.
Wait, does he really have talent, or is it raw physical ability?
You know what? Considering in a college, he played for the Gamecocks, and it might just be raw physical ability.
you know,
He doesn't have those pass rushing moves that are effective in a lot of our defensive linemen. He just doesn't have the moves, and I don't know what the deal is. Like, you're on the line with Nick Bosa, like you should be able to at least get 1 or 2 moves off of him and be successful with at least one of them. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's not working.
and that's a fair point, Ryan. But I'll say this: like the Niners misdiagnosed him, and so they had to redo it. Just like Lorenzo Ball or whatever his name is going for a 3rd knee surgery. Like the Niners have done this with like 3 people. Like they've gone with one procedure and then it's messed up. So it's not all on Kinlaw, but I understand what you're saying.
No, but that's the one thing too. Like, and I've made this point before. Social media, we're talking about something that we should have not even known anything about, nothing about, and we're talking about it. Why? Because we have social media, and this world's become so much smaller. You have a huge athletic, superstar potential creature, a physical specimen. I mean, again, the dude's huge, right? And he's going to let somebody get under his skin who is talking about his sport, his athleticism, his professional career, and then he's going to attack him. And I think the noise got into his head. So yes, I think he's got the talent. I think he has the opportunity. I think maybe there is something wrong with his knee. Maybe he needs to heal up a little bit more. But I think the noise is maybe affecting him. And if that's what's happening, then drop your social media, turn it off. I mean, like, seriously, who cares? You're the one making the money. You're the one who's supposed to be pushing that guy. And, if you're worried about what, like, someone's reporting about you, and that's what's really, like, maybe that was what Mike McGlinchey's problem was. It's just like, at the end of the day, if you say I'm not doing great or I'm not that good of a player, well, for me in practice, when I was kicking the football, when everybody was like, Bryant, and slapping me up and giving me this, I was like, yeah, right. I run out there, I kick the ball sideways. I don't get the ball off the ground. But then when people are like, no, Bryant ain't going to do it. Bryant, can we just go for 2, coach? And when they were saying that kind of stuff to me, and I was hearing it in practice, or I was saying, I kicked the ball like 50 yards into I was like, yeah, let's go, and I was cussing every one of them off and running off the field. Like, yeah, I'm 5'2", and look at me, now I'm 5'7", but I was in high school at the time. I'm not a very big guy, and maybe I need that, for me to push forward. I need that flame underneath me to, I need something like that to drive me. So maybe Kinlaw's the same way, but I have to say it again. Maybe he needs to turn the social media off and concentrate on his talent, his skills, because I think he's very big, and I think he needs to maybe get a little bit more of those swim moves and do some more of those techniques.
Exactly.
You see him boxing all the time. Well, why isn't he using his hands on the field? He just seems like he's just trying to push one person, and then they're cut. Right now, our line is so horrible. He gets out there and he goes and tries to, do his thing. We got two guys covering him, and we still don't get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, come on. Bosa's getting double teamed. Kinlaw's getting double teamed, and we still can't get pressure on the quarterback. So that's my opinion. But I think he needs to start playing like going into karate or something like that, or doing something where he's getting more hand-to-hand combat or something. So,
I mean, to me, in 2008, I was making fun of guys who had Facebook, so I'm not a big, social media guy. Nowadays, I can't go to McDonald's. I can't go anywhere without seeing casino, what a restaurant. I can't go anywhere without seeing 8 out of 10 people on their phone. So to tell people to turn media off is, that takes a special talent, but I don't think that has anything to do with his performance.
well, again, it's just thoughts, but it's like I think if that's what's really bothering him, because obviously he had to come out on social media, and then the dude didn't even stop talking with food in his mouth because he was so heated, or he had to make a point. I don't know. I mean, like, I think I could have pulled him to the side and said something, or just did something different. I've had people attack me before, and okay, real story. I was in Kentucky working at it wasn't a KFC, it was Lee's Famous Recipe, and they wanted to give me a nickname. And I said, okay, well, you can give me a nickname, but I'm going to give you a nickname back, and you just might not like the one that I give you. So go ahead and call me Sunshine all you want, because I'm from California and stuff. But when I start calling you, whatever, you got to put up with it too, or we can just call each other by our names. You know what she called me after that? My name, Bryant. So, I mean, it's how you determine and deal with people. So, again, not everybody can do that, but hey, real quick, Boomer T, he's making a good point too. I think he's feeling it. The Sam Darnold on this team can really ball out if he gets an opportunity.
I've never been a flat brim guy. That's always struck me weird as a flat brim guy. I've never done that. Kyle does that. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
So for me, I have a couple
flat
different
brims
hats.
have their purpose.
Yep. And for me, I have a couple hats. Some of them are flat, and I like this one. This for me is cool. I have a couple that are already bent. I have a couple of them that once I get it, I start at the back and then I start working it up. And there is actually a technique on how you bend your hat if you want to do it a certain way. But no, I got this hat. This is one of my go-to hats, but it's just like a dad hat. This hat. I love the color. I put the Batman lettering on it from Batman the Animated Series. And one day maybe I'll have to break it in, or I'll have to get another one. That one's awesome. That one right there is awesome. Both of those look like
it really depends on the hat and how it fits on my head. Sometimes I got to put bend in it just so it fits snug and it's comfortable. This one fits comfortable the way it is, so I go either way.
Flat brims are for more going out and doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like the curved bills are for actually getting work done with the hat on. Like if you're gonna play, you better be playing baseball with a curved bill, because it's helpful with blocking out the sun. You know what I mean?
So
like that's.
This is off subject, but what's up with keeping the sticker on the hat? Is that are you guys down with that or no?
Well, mine is for right now.
That's been a thing since elementary.
I sometimes like to keep it there until it falls off. To me, it's always felt like good luck. Like as long as it's there, it's still lucky. But once it falls off, then I got a memory of that day when it fell off. I kind of have a good memory. I usually know what's happening when I'm doing something, and usually it'll be like my daughter or my brother that will peel the sticker off. I don't like the stickers underneath the hat because I'm always looking at it. So it gets the holographic sticker or whatnot. So same thing with like coffee cups. When I get a NFL cup with the little logo on the bottom, I'll usually keep it on until it washes off. So, but that's me. That's just me. But yeah, if you guys have been to California, or if you guys like fishing, Boomer T's doing the right thing today. And he's up there by Lake Comanche, and then he caught a bass. So that's cool. If you like fishing, that's cool. I like fishing too.
Shout out to Wolfcast, another fisherman.
Where at?
Lake Comanche.
Where's that at?
Lake Comanche. It's in California. It's in the valley. It's Valley Springs, Grass Valley. I think Grass Valley, and been up there a couple
Wait.
times. It's a lot of fun.
Lake
Not too
Comanche.
far from.
I don't.
Yep.
Were the Comanches in California at all?
It might have been. I can't tell you. That would be a Wolfgang
'Cause
question.
they-
I would have to say.
Well,
Dang, mine is a
Comanches, I
black.
believe, were Plains Indians, and I don't think. Well, I don't know.
Again, I'm gonna have to shoot out to Wolf and ask
Yep.
him. Hey, what do you know about the
Yep,
Comanches?
got to default to Wolf on that one.
Yep. Shout out to Wolfcast.
Shout out to one.
So, all right. Well, David, we talked a little bit about it. I've asked everybody, but I don't think I've asked you. What are your thoughts on Sam Darnold?
I think he's a good backup. Third overall pick. He's been on some bad teams. He hasn't been given a chance. He's more. I saw the presser when they were talking to him, and he's excited to be with a good organization, good coaches, good players. And I think the whole reason of signing him, he did go 4-2 with the Panthers last year, and they weren't a good football team. But the reason for signing him is to push Trey Lance. And that's what we need right now. We need a guy to push him. And because Trey Lance has the talent and ability to also he has the ability. We haven't seen him put it all together on the field yet, and I partially put that on Kyle because he's supposed to be coaching him up. But yeah, we signed him to push Baker Mayfield. Wow. I'm sorry, Trey Lance. I did not mean to insult you that way. But we signed Sam Darnold to push him. And also at the same time, Brock Purdy just had his surgery not long ago, and he hasn't even started the rehab process. There could be setbacks. We don't know the outcome of that and won't know for a while. So the 49ers were thinking, we better bring in a quality QB just to make sure that we have someone there. So, multiple reasons why we signed Sam Darnold, and I don't hate it. I honestly like the fact that we have him on the team.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think he is a very smart upgrade. I would have liked to see Mariota, but Sam Darnold, he's got the similar aspects of like what Brock Purdy has got, but I think he's just bigger. And I think he's got a lot of talent. He was a first round pick, right? And the guy is he's got an opportunity to push, to feel comfortable, and to feel like the team is behind him. Maybe this is the one place where he can feel like the team is behind him. But again, if he really does see ghost and Santa Clara is built on, top of an Indian burial ground, this might not be the best spot for him.
So another
That's-
thing
that's
I think people aren't looking into is not only could some team need him halfway through the season and we could deal him for picks, but also if he does any sort of if he gets any sort of looks and does any sort of well next year, if he signs a contract over $16 million, we get a third round comp.
Love those third
You know
round
what I'm
comps.
saying?
I mean, the ghost thing was like how many years ago? That's kind of rough.
Right, it's one of those things,
but there's probably
live
some
and die
truth
by
to it
what you
still.
did before in the past, and if it's the same thing. Like Kyle Shanahan will not ever get past that Super Bowl until he wins one, right? Or the 28-3, he won't until he wins it. That's what everybody's going to say. So it's the same thing, kind of what's going on with until Sam Darnold can show he's not afraid of ghosts and he's ghost busting. I mean, there it is. And
Yeah,
again, everybody wants to say Santa Clara, all the bad juju and everything, we're on top of an Indian burial ground, and I don't think that's true.
But I mean, Tua had, we think, 3 concussions last year, right? But we're not going to talk about him like that. So I just think that's a little hard.
But again, Tua didn't come out and say, "I'm seeing ghosts out there, coach." He didn't come out and say he didn't come out and say anything. He let his fingers do his talking, right? And again, not trying to make fun of anybody, but
That's harsh.
that was that at that point though. The coaches should have said, "Hey, something's wrong. We don't need to win this game. We need to worry about the life of that player." And at that point, that's why I thought maybe, Jimmy could be going to Miami or something because Tua, if he gets hit too many times, I mean, you seen what was happening last season. And at a certain point, the team, the doctors, the owner, the fans, somebody has to stand up and say, hey, that guy needs to be pulled off the field and he needs to recover for a couple games or however long it takes. I'm a fan of the team, but I'm also a fan of life, and you don't want to see your quarterback or your franchise go down there. And again, I'm talking, I'm not trying to put anybody down or make fun of anybody, but and I am a funny guy, but I'm funny looking mostly, but
Yeah, I heard you're a Grant Cohn lookalike.
oh, right. Oh my gosh. There were some trolls yesterday, but I've gotten used to it because I'll call into Rombo, I'll call into a couple other shows. And if you pay attention to the chat, make you not want to call in anywhere. And I like talking enough where it's like, hey, you want to call in, you call in. You have enough spirit, you have enough heart, you're not scared. You want to say something and put yourself out there. Like all of us right here, we're putting ourselves out there and somebody wants to tag us and say something. Hey, they're more than welcome to it. If I become a meme one day, okay, well, hopefully it's a good meme that sticks around, one day, right? But no, I don't appreciate some of those people in the chat, and I'll get back in there and I'll say, why don't you call in? And they don't call in because they are who they are, and we know it. But you gotta love trolls. We all love trolls. So.
Oh, I am a troll. I prefer actually to text and call in, but I'm trying to expand myself.
Get back under your bridge.
So you're okay.
Get back under your bridge, Steve-O.
I know. I actually, I reviewed some tape last night. Ryan, and every I watch the little guys that have like 10, 20 viewers, and I try and make somebody laugh every time. That's my goal. That's my niche. I don't have a channel. I just like to do what I do.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate you because I see you everywhere too. I've seen you for a long time, and it's one of those things. It's like if I say something in the chat and somebody gets funny, a funny, moment, and it makes their day a little bit better. Okay, I'll put in like banana hands until he wins a ring and stuff like that, and it's just one of those things. I don't want to see the guy fired. I want to see the Niners win, and I want to see the Niners win with them. But if somebody gets offended, or like, hey, okay, But again, I'll call in. You want to talk? We'll call. Well, I'll call in.
And real quick, like because I'm seeing myself on camera on two different screens, and when I was like 16 and started working, I take those little girls' compacts and I like put them on my eyes to like cover up the darkness. But then by the end of the day, when I'm sweating, it'll like kick up. I'm looking at my eyes right now, and I'm like, dude, you're a crackhead. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm very excited because I think Sam Darnold can really push Trey Lance, and I think that's probably the best opportunity right now for both of them is to both compete. They both are young and they both have a whole lot of talent. So me being a Sam Darnold hater, no, just like throwing a little jokes there, and but I just want to see the best man at the position really. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. And if anybody has an opportunity to go to training camp this year and they want to reach out to me, let me know. I'm gonna try to go this year. I'm gonna try to go a couple times. In Stockton when they were here a couple years ago, well, almost 20 years ago, I almost went to every training camp. Me and my brother Mark, shout out to my brother Mark, we'd ride down on our bikes and we'd watch the practice, and it was fun. If you go there now, everything's gone. Everything's changed.
How much does that cost?
I think the tickets are relatively cheap, and I think different tickets prices are for different things. Last time I checked, well, when I was going, training camp was free to get in except for a couple practices. There was practices you'd have to pay for to get in at nighttime. But I think the last time I checked, I want to say don't quote me. Okay, quote me. I think it was like $15 a training camp ticket, but later I can find that out and I'll let you know too. I got my guy, first time for the East Coast. Mr. Ty Austin coming in.
What's going on, good people? Oh,
What's
man,
up, Ty?
behind me.
What up,
Hi.
time?
What you guys doing?
Good.
I'm still disappointed because when I won that shirt from Ty, we lost. So I'm still holding judgment.
That's not my fault.
To be
Ty, you're a
TBD.
10%er?
Hold on.
Oh, I like it. I see it.
Boom. All right, that's better. Okay. No, this is a joke hat I made when we were joking around. I was saying I was the agent for all the podcasters, and I could
Yeah,
take
yeah.
your pod, and I could go from podcast to podcash if you sign with me. I only want 10%.
That's
Gotcha.
right.
10% at your service. So
Hey,
that's what
I love
Well, hey,
I
Ty,
tried to follow
what would
your
I
other
get?
account,
What would
but
I
I couldn't
get for?
find it.
What would I get for 15%? Like,
Let's
where we going if I'm giving you 15%? You know what I'm saying?
Bees knees.
We got a shoe deal.
That's right. You get some endorsements, maybe a nice lady on your
Okay.
arm. You never know. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the
No, we
only
don't need
person with
that.
connections to the Bunny
Trying to
Ranch.
make money, not pay money.
Oh,
There you go.
I live 5 minutes
right,
away
Ty.
from the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, nice.
All right, Ty, I know you wanted to come in and talk. So first off, I'd like to ask you if you'd like to talk a little bit about Sam and then maybe Kinlaw and then anything else. So the floor is yours.
Oh, I heard you guys talking about Kinlaw. Let's go back there. With him, he's all about technique. I heard you say, does he have the skills? And hush. And I think he has skills. He's just raw. He's a young, raw guy. When you see him get low, keep his pads low, use his leverage, and use that technique that you're supposed to use, that's when he looks like a force. When he plays up high, standing up, he's getting pushed around because he doesn't have that leverage, right? So it's all mental. It's all, skills based. Hush.
He also doesn't marry his hands to his feet. When you're right about to bust your move on an offensive lineman, you need to have your feet in position at the same time you have your hands in position to really give you the upper edge and to actually get past them and for your move to work. And he is off timing all the time with that. He thinks like his like SWAT's gonna move a 300-pound dude like it did in college, and it doesn't.
Yeah, and that comes back to technique, and using, not just your raw ability. There's actually skill to playing football, and that's where he's lacking and shows his inconsistency. And until he gets that down, he's going to be just another rotational guy. And that's what he is right now, just a rotational guy.
And I think he'll be a good one this year.
Yeah. I mean, he came in when he did like spot duty rotational stuff last year, he was good. It wasn't until that guy got hurt. Shit. I'm forgetting his name. One of our guys
Ridgeway.
got hurt that was starting. Ridgeway. It was Ridgeway that was in there starting. That got hurt.
One of our
it was
thick
him
guys.
and Givens. Yeah. And then he got hurt, so we had to put Kinlaw in there, and you saw he's not starting material. He is rotation.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too on Kinlaw is if he gets down low because he's a force, right? And everybody knows it's about helmet and pad, shoulder, and that's how the Eagles were able to, just dominate with that quarterback sneak or whatever you want to call it, wildcat, whatever you want to call it. But when Kinlaw gets down like that, because he's huge, right? But it's all about like technique. So somebody like my size, if I got down in the right technique, I ideally with mathematics could do better with leverage, right? But I gotta get down low enough. But when he's standing up like he's Bigfoot, no, it's not working out for him. And really, honestly, I don't want to see I don't want to take any food out of anybody's mouth, or anything like that. I want to see the guy do good. We believed in him. We took a shot on him. He's a homegrown guy, right? We're growing him, right? So we don't want to
drafted
just
him.
pull him out and throw him away. So I would like to see the guy, get a chance. But the thing is he's got to keep his head in the game, and he's whatever he's got to do. If he tells him, hey, I can't play a couple games and I got to play a couple games, he's got to make those games count. And
Yeah.
Ty, I've said it a couple times, and I don't know if this is a crazy idea or if you even would condone this, but what would your thoughts be on if they said, hey, Kinlaw, I know you're a defensive line guy, but what would you think about playing on the O-line?
Oh, for a guy that doesn't use his hands and his
no.
feet well, no.
He's also
I'm just looking at his height and his size and just thinking, man, he'd be pretty cool at tackle or something,
It would take years to get him
also
up to speed on the O-line.
Offensive linemen are normally really smart, and I'm not saying Javon Kinlow's stupid. I'm just saying he's not above average with his knowledge. You know what I mean? And I think
You don't know that for sure. You can't say that.
I'm pretty sure.
And linemen usually are called
just
dumb guys. Let's leave that alone.
I'm not saying all D linemen are, but the position allows them to not have to be extremely smart with things. It's probably scheme wise one of the easiest positions to play. You know what I mean? Like defensive line scheme wise, you have less to think about. You've got one thing you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You got one spot to go. That's really it.
So, as opposed to that point, we all know the center calls the plays and the protections and everything. Do you think that Kyle would change that to the QB anytime soon?
No.
The center calls the protections.
Right.
He's calling out the protections.
I think that's
which all centers do. I mean, the quarterback's job is to identify the blitz and notify a line, to slide coverage to left or right, depending on where the blitz is coming from. That's their primary duty, back there. But the center is calling out the line calls all the time.
Is that not what I said?
The quarterback in the NFL doesn't really do that unless they've got a brand new center that they think might have issues with it, and they let the quarterback do it until they feel he's confident on calling the coverages.
And that's normally like old veteran guys.
Yeah, the center and the quarterback are supposed to be like in tandem. They do.
You want
to be like almost on the same page.
You want the quarterback pre-snap looking at other things.
Yeah, he's reading the coverage.
He's reading those linebackers,
checking out who's coming.
The quarterback looks at him,
and then the safety tells him who's coming. You know what I mean? Or the center tells the quarterback who's coming by the protection. See, so like quarterback's looking downfield, lineman's looking right in front, and then lineman will tell him, "Hey, that's the mic." Well, you know what I mean? There you go. That's the dude. This is the way we're shifting, and then the quarterback now knows what the coverage is pre-snap, and then he knows what the line call is. So it's like you got two people working, one thing each. Kind of makes you faster.
But you don't think we have a quarterback that can do that?
That's not the question. We already know that Trey can because he did it in college.
Yeah, that was one of the things that attracted the 49ers to Trey Lance. His ability to come to the line, read coverages, and dissect things, so he has the acumen to do that. It's just, can you do it on an NFL level now? Because everything is heightened. Everything is more disguised. It's more complex at this level. So young guys, it normally takes time for them to be able to do that on an advanced level. That's why a lot of teams want a veteran center to work with your young quarterback to rev them up and get them up to speed and take some of that burden off of them.
Yep, 100%. And that's one thing that I thought, the Niners did like about Trey Lance too, is his ability to go under center. I think they do want to move to a shotgun formation a little bit more, but the ability for him to line up under center and play the quarterback position, that's what they wanted. So again, I think we got good hands right now. We're in good hands. What's your thoughts on the Sam Darnold? I know we talked about Kinlaw for a little while.
Yeah, I know we went a little too far with Kinlaw, but Sam Darnold, they just wanted a guy with playing experience to come in, to help right the ship and see what he's got. They were interested in Darnold a few years ago, so it was an opportunity to grab him for a lot less money than an older guy. So they went out and got him, and I'm sure he'll come in and compete. Have a starter's mentality. And that's what we want. Iron sharpens iron. Get these guys in and compete. And hopefully he can do some good things in our system. I mean, it's not hard to excel in Kyle Shanahan's offense. When you got guys running 6 yards open most times, just get the damn ball to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
does
that
anybody
hard.
Remember when he was the Jets? When he was with the Jets and we played him? He played really good against us. He kept the game in really close against us. He was athletic. He bootlegged out in the backfield. The guy's not afraid to play, and he seems to be confident. He seems to be a good passer. I think he has a good opportunity to really strive in this offense. And one thing I like about him is they looked at him before when he came out. They weren't able to get him, but they still looked at him. And he's not a Kyle guy, so it's not like he's a Josh Johnson or a Matt Ryan or something like that. This is totally different. And it's not like you can't have guys that's in your system before, because sometimes that works out. We see it, but not everybody's Tevin Coleman, and we can't keep re-signing these guys and re-signing them. It's like since Atlanta, or even maybe since Cleveland, Kyle Shanahan, maybe since Tampa Bay, right? The Texans, Kyle's got these guys that he's trying to win a ring with. And it's like, okay, sooner or later, he's going to win a ring. But how long is he going to keep these guys around, like 20, 40 years before he gets there? And again, if that's what you want to do, okay. But I think we need some younger guys and some new blood, and Sam Darnold coming in, I think he's got the ability to do it. I think he's a little bit more like Brock Purdy. I think he's just a little bit bigger. And I think that's going to really bode well for him, because if he does get hit, he should be a little bit more stronger, right? He should be able to, do that. And I do see him being more athletic than Jimmy. So that's the cool thing about that. And the one thing I am a little bit like, I don't know why they didn't take Mariota, but Sam Darnold, I think, is the next best thing. So what is your thoughts? Do you think they should have taken Mariota, or are you happier with Sam?
Okay, well, hold on. First of all, I got to know what Jets game you are referring to, because if it's
The
that
Niners and
game
the
in
Jets,
2020 when we lost Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa for the seasons, that game,
That was the Giants.
Yeah, because we
we
played
blew
the
them out
Jets
that
and then we
game.
played the Giants.
How do you guys remember this stuff?
We blew them out that
He
game.
did
He
pretty
didn't do much. He didn't do much against a beat up defense. He didn't do much. So
I'm gonna have to
I think
rewatch
everybody's
that.
I
looking
don't know
back to
about
a
that
couple
one.
of the plays where he made a couple daring passes and they came through for him. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. And
I feel you,
I also-
Ty.
I don't go for the Tim Tebow effect, where you stink it up for 55 minutes, but you play good for 5. So we got.
I just also want to kind of temper.
But with that mentality, right? You can look at Steve Young, you can look at John Elway, and Brett Favre. They stunk up the whole game, and then at the end, 2-minute drive, they go down and win it. So I mean, sometimes you only need 5 minutes.
And I'll say this: Tim Tebow was like the best thing coming out of college. 36 games, I think he played out of in 3 years, and he's probably the biggest bust ever. But everybody talks as Jimmy G is the biggest bust ever, or whatever. And I'm not a Jimmy G guy. Don't get me wrong, but as far as Sam Darnold, I want him to be like my offensive line. If I don't hear your name, you're doing good.
Well, I just think people need to temper their opinions too, or their emotions, because remember when we got Josh Rosen on this team, everybody was buzzing like, "Oh, we might be able to look." For some reason, some of these guys just stink. Okay, and like I don't think Sam Darnold's the same as Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen seemed like he had tuned out mentally, And, I don't think that's the case with Sam. I think Sam's like, he's going to Jamaica. He's trying to get his groove back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's excited for that. He's excited for to change the scenery, and he's trying to get better. And I just don't know if that's going to happen. You know what I mean? We'll see. But don't think like he's going to be the second coming.
What happened to Josh Rosen? Where's he at now?
Real quick,
I don't even know if he's
Josh
in the league.
Rosen seemed like a douchebag.
Yeah.
hey to Jon Jay, thanks for coming in. And then
Yeah,
I
I
want to
just
get
got
back to
home.
that one question. I
I just got home.
Hey,
I saw you on, so want to pop in for a little bit.
Hey.
Cool. So let's go. Yeah, and I'll ask you a question here in a second, Ty. So with that, because it's extending into my question, would you have preferred Mariota over Sam?
I think so.
It's like one's a better runner, one's a better passer.
Yeah,
I think for what
One's
we do,
been in the league longer too and seen more.
yeah, I would take Sam Darnold. Sorry, I would take Darnold just because he's more mobile than you think. He's got good legs. He's not a runner. He's a scrambler per se, but he can get out and run. Similar to Brock Purdy, similar to Trey Lance. Trey Lance is not a runner. He's a scrambler. So let's put that out there. So tall, strong arm, can make throws. It's just, can he get right in the head? So I would take him over Mariota. Yeah, I would.
all right.
I get the feeling that Mariota is going to be the next Geno Smith someday. Like had the bad career, and then he's going to get on a team. Everything's going to click finally, and he's going to have a good season. I just have this feeling, Mariota.
It's so weird because
I was thinking a totally different direction. I thought you meant he was going to get on a team, someone's going to break his jaw, and then he was going to go somewhere else, and then have a better season. But,
I mean, it's so weird.
Oh man,
Josh
Yeah,
Allen,
man, after
like three QBs, like top three QBs, like had Brady, Rodgers, Josh Allen had bad years, and Geno Smith had an amazing year. That's so weird to me.
No, I'm glad for Geno though. He went somewhere and he's able to do better. And sometimes your personality in a locker room, it really has it's a family. And if you don't get along with your family, sometimes or your friends, sometimes you go and start a new family or you move on from there. And maybe that's what Geno had to do because his personality in that locker room, New York was too bright for him or too big. But him in Seattle, that's scary for us right now. A lot scarier than I was hoping for. So, Mr. Jon Jay, same questions. What's your thoughts on Sam Darnold?
See, well, first of all, I live in the West Coast, so I got to see a lot of USC games. Sam Darnold is not a bad quarterback. He was in bad teams, but that's
West Coast is the best coast.
Yes. So, when he had what was the head coach? Gase, who's not a good coach. He had his best year with him, and that says a lot because he's not a good coach. Then he goes to the Panthers. He does pretty well, but then the Panthers are the Panthers. There's not too many pieces. But under Wilkes, he played pretty well. Now, his numbers, of course, are not perfect, but he played pretty well. The intangibles are there. He has like a 48-yard rushing touchdown, so that says a lot that he doesn't have the speed, but he can run. And I agree with the previous comment from someone in the panel. He's not a runner. He's not Lamar. We have to understand the difference from a running quarterback to a scrambler. There are a lot of quarterbacks who are really good at scrambling, but are not runners. So I really like Sam Darnold. I don't know what his job is going to be on the 49ers, but I said this on my stream. You got Brock Purdy, who wants to prove everybody wrong that, I'm going to come back stronger from an injury. He wants to prove that he can still play. Trey Lance, a third overall pick. He wants to prove everybody, I've been injured. I was a backup behind Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to prove that I can play football. And Sam Darnold, who's barely 25 years old, a number 3 overall pick, there's 3 quarterbacks that could be the quarterbacks on the Niners. Overall, like you said, Brian, we want competition, and whoever wins that starting job is going to earn it. So that's how I look at the quarterback situation. I really like Darnold. Like a lot of people can, say, oh, he's afraid of ghosts and yada yada. He's a good quarterback. It's just that if you go to since 2010, all the quarterbacks that have went in the top 10, did they have instant success in the NFL? Of course not. So I don't penalize Sam Darnold. He's on a good team. I don't think he's going to be starter day one unless he beats out the other 2 quarterbacks, which is going to be very difficult. But I like this quarterback room. The quarterbacks are under 25. They're hungry. Someone's going to take that job. That's how I see that quarterback situation.
So
Well, I tell you what, real quick, guys. If I get that bump box position, from Levi's, and I get to be the bump box guy, I'm coming out, and I don't care. I'll come out. We'll be, a little gremlin, or we'll come out super gremlin, something cool, right? You guys know I'll bring a cool song, Fernando, something cool, right? But we're gonna get to a point, and if Sam Darnold comes into the game, if Trey Lance comes in and scores a touchdown, I'll be ready. I'll turn on. I'll get the stadium to hook up to my audio, and we'll have a song for like 30 seconds or something. But I'm telling you, if Sam Darnold comes into the game and I'm the bump box guy and he scores a touchdown, I'm putting on the Ghostbuster song. Boom.
So, but Wilkes was not the head coach, correct, of the Panthers?
Yep.
He was the interim head coach.
He was interim.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Remember, it's Matt Rule to begin the season, and then they let him go, and they named Wilkes the interim head coach. They
Sorry, I don't remember.
Interim.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
No, if I was to get the bump box position, I'll talk a little clearer, and Sam Darnold comes in and scores a touchdown, I'm playing the Ghostbuster song. It's gonna happen.
That's going to be used at some point, whether it's in preseason or OTAs, training camp. Somebody's going to be playing that. Yeah.
We can
fridge,
Shit.
If you can't move that fridge, you can't be bum box guy.
We can make shirts.
Yep.
Bro, he's got a point though. If you're gonna get pushed around by one of them fridges, was it in the box?
Oh.
So
was it in the box? Or was it out of the box?
I haven't thought of it yet, but I will
think of it still.
Second.
They got handles to hold on to that stuff.
Who's got the question?
Who are you gonna call? If Sam comes in,
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
All right, so
who's
here's the
beeping?
question. Yeah, somebody's beeping.
I'm texting my date tonight, so don't mind me.
Oh,
there you go.
Hey,
oh yeah.
Hey, you take care of business.
David McNiner is
Don't let us get in the way, bruh.
All right, so here's my
player.
final question. My final question for the panel, and then we'll get out of here.
Chocolates. I hear they like that shit.
We know this.
All right, final question for the panel, and then we'll all get out of here. And everybody can say what they're doing for the day. And but real quick before we do that, final question: who is your most sexy pick out there that we can sign, or it can include draft pick, it can include free agency. But who would you like the Niners currently right now to go out and get that's still available? And we can start with Steve-O.
I'm gonna go for David and just tell you it's Yannick Ngakoue.
I agree.
We don't have the money, bro. But if you're gonna start with me and put me on the spot,
hold up.
Uh-oh.
The longer he sits, the cheaper he gets.
but there's a reason for that.
That's true. There's a reason he's not getting picked up just yet.
So I'm gonna go with my Boza crush got crushed when we signed the other guy in the interior line. But so I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers because everybody talked about Lamar Jackson, which we 98% couldn't afford, but Aaron Rodgers for 1 year, I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? I mean, I don't care about the off the field stuff. Like Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. Tell me we're not favorites, right?
Well, his cap hit's so big. I mean, we would literally have to cut players to make that
Mhm.
happen.
Yep.
But I would pay him out of my own pocket to let him do that.
Okay, but
All
you
right.
can't. So I
Go.
don't know why it's
So
a
he
thing.
said,
I don't know what
he
to
said
talk about.
Aaron. He said Aaron. So let's go with you, Ryan, because I kind of like that pick too. So we're gonna lock that one in. You're locked in. Ryan, what's your
Oh,
pick?
I'm going.
Anybody.
I'm
It
going
doesn't
Yannick
matter. You got
Ngakwe.
that frog magic. Yannick.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
way I see it,
Mr. John.
if we
Go ahead,
lock him in, his talent will just push the defensive line over the edge. And
And
you
he's
know, David
he's a
brings up
D end, right?
Huh?
He's a D end.
Yeah, Yannick
Yeah.
Ngakwe, defensive end. I think with as long as he stays on the market, obviously he's trying to get money. But if nobody's trying to pay him and all the slots are starting to get filled up, he's going to have to come down off that price. So that might be just the only thing is he wants more. No one's willing to give it right now because everybody's already allotted their money for the defensive line. So if he wants to get paid at all, he's going to have to come down off that price.
All right, John. What do you think? You can be pick anybody you want. You got that Prague magic. You can make it happen.
See the way I look at players that I never look at the flashy names. I always look at what we have done. We lost McGlinchey. Colton may be promoted. Center looks like we're bringing back Brendel. So we need some extra player on the line. We got a corner. We did lose Jimmy Ward. The Amador, he's not as bad as I say, but corner should be like another place to look at. But I'm gonna go with tight end, and that's going to be a position because I don't know what's going on with Ross Dwelly. The Niners have not re-signed him. Nobody has picked him up yet. I think Charlie Warner, Kittle are the only two tight ends at the moment. I don't know if we're going to draft one. So I think tight end right now. I don't know the tight end market. I would have to look that up. But tight end right now would be up there as a priority. And linebacker, we lost Aziz. We were able to keep Flanagan Foles. We did sign early before free agent started. McClary Ball. So we got linebackers there, but those are two positions that are just a little bit understaffed at the moment. So those are two positions I will look at.
Yeah, I agree. We need a tight end. Definitely need a tight end. All right, Ty, it's yours.
I'm looking for a draft pick, and I'm looking for a kicker with some leg that can, when we get a 49-yard field goal opportunity, we're not cringing like, ooh, I hope this is good. It can also kick the ball out the back of the end zone to, help the special teams out some, give them a break. So that's what I'm looking for. Everything else I'm satisfied with. My other hope would be a ball hawking free safety, a young guy who can get some good coverage, some good ball skills on the back end. Gibson's got 1 year. Let's draft that guy now. Maybe redshirt him, play him a little bit, and maybe hopefully he could take over next season.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. I like Huff, but I think Huff needs a little bit more help out there because if he had a little bit more help, he could be a little bit more instinctive. He could maybe be that ball hawking guy we need, but sometimes you need another guy just to take that pressure off. And those picks come a little bit easier sometimes. So, all right, David, if you're ready, I'm going to ask you too. I think we know, but I'd like to hear it from you again.
Well, my number one acquisition would be Yannick Ngakwe. Getting that speed rusher, that guy on the other side of Bosa that's going to push the quarterback into Bosa. How much would that help our squad, right? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the second need, right tackle, We have 11 draft picks. I honestly looked at the free agent market, and they're all mids. So when it comes down to it, there's a guy I've actually watched play here locally, Blake Freeland. He's 6'7", 307, very athletic, and has a humongous wingspan. His wingspan's ridiculous. But he might be the guy that would be an upgrade over McGlinchey right now, and he's a rookie, but if we trade up to get him, then there's a reason they're trading up to get him. The other spot I'm uncomfortable with is backup tight end. Charlie Warner has proven he can block, but hasn't proven he can catch a ball. So it would be nice to have a second tight end threat, especially with the young quarterbacks we have, to help them out. And I honestly think it might be time to find a guy in the draft too. 11 picks. We're not going to use 11 picks.
No.
I honestly think we should trade up, maybe get 4 or 5 rookies out of the deal, because we'll always sign a couple undrafted free agents that will stand out. But, get 4 or 5 guys out of the deal. Let's trade up. Let's get a guy like Sam Laporta from Iowa, and, Blake Freeland from BYU is the guy I'm talking about if you guys want to do research on him. And, that it's time to get younger, especially with all these contracts coming up and everything else we have going on. It's time to get younger.
Yeah. Yeah, and by getting younger in the draft at key positions like that solidifies us for years to come, where we can continue to expand this offense, expand this roster. Because when you start, just signing free agents all the time, you don't know their ages. But when you get people from the draft at key positions, like Trey Lance, he's young. We can build with him for years and years and years. Homegrown. Everybody likes homegrown, and if you don't, then you're all right. Well, whatever. Keep your head in your own yard, right? Whatever. But I would really like to see us get a veteran quarterback, but at this point, it would only be to push Trey Lance. And if the team believes that Sam Darnold can push him, then I'm confident in that. My sexy pick, I like Robbie Gould, but I also like what Ty said. You need to have somebody who can kick it into the end zone. My only defense, my argument to that is sometimes it's strategic, but if you can't do it, then it's not strategic. They know you aren't doing it. So for you to have the opportunity, the ability to do it, like if I can kick it in the end zone and then one time I don't, that's when you don't know what's going to happen. So for me saying, it's strategic that they're not kicking it into the end zone. Ideally, you kick the ball up into the air. It's got good hang time. Your guys get down there and they can, get it down at the 1 or the 2 or something like that. But if you can't get it into the end zone, then you can't guarantee that it's going to come out to the 25. And then those guys can kind of, start a block, early. The guy can return it, get 30, 40 yards on us. And that's what's been happening. So, yes, I'd like to see that happen. But, and I'd also like to see, like a kicker come in like a Pat McAfee or somebody who could ever, jump on their own onside kick. If that could happen, that'd be great. So if we have the opportunity to go out for somebody like a Jake Moody or somebody else, I would like to see that. I like that opportunity. Maybe we can combine a couple picks and move up. Maybe we can stay at 101. But guys, I appreciate everybody for coming in.
I got a quick question. I got to ask this.
Go.
I've heard this phrase used kind of a few times throughout the day, and I got to ask, why do we need someone to push Trey Lance? Why is that sentiment, that thought out there?
I think Trey Lance need a mentor after 3 years. Jimmy is probably the best mentor ever. He's better a mentor than a quarterback. Why does Trey Lance need a mentor? Is my question as well.
Well,
all right.
Okay,
so Trey Lance. So the kid, he has never been handed anything. He went to the NDSU for a reason, because he could be a quarterback. No one else wanted him to be a quarterback. So at this point, he's one of those guys you just got to light a fire under and let him eat. You know, that's what I think anyway. I think that's just the type of guy he is. Last year he was handed it. You know, he was handed it on a plate, and you know, during training camp, OTAs, yeah, he's playing against the #1 defense. Let's be honest here. He's not going to look fantastic, but I don't think I don't think that there was anyone really pushing him, because, you know, Jimmy G ain't pushing anything. So, you know, if we push him to be better, he's the type of guy that thrives when he's being pushed like that, in my opinion.
You see, I always wonder why, you know, people continue to, you know, make these stories and, you know, say Trey Lance needs to be pushed, things like that. I personally don't hear it, but, you know, some people do bring it up, and I tell myself, okay, first of all, what does he need to be pushed at? You know, he works out, you know, he's practicing, he's trying to get back on the field. And for anyone who says Trey Lance isn't doing nothing, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're listening to, who's telling you that, or what you're reading. Okay, we have to stop this right now. My thing, like I've always said, we need him on the field to play. Until he is on the field playing, people are going to continue to say he needs to be pushed. He's not good, making all these things up. And I do want to call out some of the people who are content creators and writers for the Niners. He's not a bust. You want to know why he's not a bust? Because he hasn't played awful. Awful. That's a bust when you're playing awful. He's got hurt. Okay. Every time he's been on the field, he's got hurt. And that's only with 4 limited starts. So it's not that he's been awful. And when he's been on the field and he's shown he has a good arm, he can stretch the ball down the field, he's able to play action. He's not the quickest runner. He's not the quickest runner when he was in college. So there are things that he has to clean up. So I will continue to say this. Trey Lance is not a bust. He doesn't need to be pushed because he's working. The team around him is, you know, still around him. This 49ers team supports the quarterbacks. They supported Jimmy when the fan base hated him. They supported Trey Lance when people hated on Trey Lance. And they supported Brock Purdy when people were like, no, Trey Lance is supposed to be the guy. Let's calm down, people. Let's calm down. And like I said, the better quarterback will show up on training camp. And the better quarterback will be selected to be the quarterback week 1. Let's not do this. Let's be honest to ourselves. If you have your own opinions, I respect that. But let's stop saying that Trey Lance is horrible. You got to stop doing this.
Agree. Go ahead, Ryan, because I want everybody to get a crack at this one.
I wonder if it's the culture, because we talk about iron sharpens iron, right?
Yep.
And we see someone in Trey who has potential, but we don't see it on the field yet. So maybe in the back of people's mind, they think competition will make him stronger and better, and to the point where competition doesn't come into the minds of anybody's. I don't know, because I even think that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, you know, once you said something, Ty, I was like, yeah, why does that have to be a thing? But also at the same time, like I like competition because you get winners out of competition. You know?
Who spoke before Ryan? What's your name? I'm sorry.
My name is John.
John. Thank you, John. See, John brought up a huge point which no one talks about, or I don't know why they don't, but Trey Lance not being on the field is not because of bad performance. It's because he simply got injured. That's simple. Okay? So, but when people say, oh, we need to see Trey on the field, he needs to get pushed, they say it in that tone of he needs to perform better. When that's not
there's
the case.
certain aspects of his game that he does need to perform better. Like some of his passes,
but we can say that about Brock Purdy. We can say that about Sam Darnold. Why don't they need to be pushed?
They both. That's why I was like, hey, both them in camp competing together. That's great because they both need to get better. I was saying, who can get more like the other one? You know what I mean? Because obviously the best quarterback for this team is a little bit of both.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but just think about the conversations that you hear. Think about just this show alone. How we need a guy to push Trey Lance, but no one says that about the other quarterbacks. No one says Trey will push Sam or Brock will push Trey, or Trey will push Brock. It's always centered to Trey, as if it's a performance issue. When we know that's
okay,
not the case.
what have we seen? What have we seen Trey do on the field so far?
Got hurt 4 times in 3 games. He was supposed to replace Jimmy G, who is injury prone.
No,
So
take
that's
the injuries out of it. We're talking about like statistics, like actual play.
No, you
Injuries
can't
don't
take
matter.
you can't take injuries out of it because the whole reason we drafted Jimmy G was to replace an injury prone Jimmy G. So you can't take injuries out of it.
Jimmy G got hurt standing in the pocket.
We've seen
Trey
Brock
Lance
Purdy
got
on the
hurt
field
running through a brick wall, which he was told to do. Are you really comparing the two?
Okay, so we've seen Brock Purdy on the field. We've seen his performance in limited games. We've seen that.
Amazing.
We haven't seen Trey Lance on the field performing. So at this point, we got Sam Darnold, who has been on trash teams, and with the team that we have, he could probably do better, but we don't know. But the whole thing is Trey is the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. We drafted him to be our franchise future quarterback.
Indeed.
And I really like his upside. I like Trey Lance. He's a fantastic human being. At this point, we haven't seen much out of him because he hasn't hit the field. And this is all circumstances and reasons that are out of the young man's control.
But the thing is with Trey is like Trey. We gave up 3. We gave up 2 ones, which were the 20th and 30th pick. So they're basically second. So like to me, the pick doesn't matter as long as we get our QB, our franchise QB. It doesn't matter to me, in my opinion.
Right, and that's a good point. Like I don't care which guy it is. I just want to talk about them truthfully and hope they do well. Mm-hmm. And not try to put those like negative daggers in there, like, oh, he needs to be pushed. Oh, we haven't seen a lot of him. Well, we haven't. We only saw 6 regular season. Timeout. We saw 6 regular season games of Brock Purdy. We saw 3.5 regular season games of Trey Lance. That's a 2.5 game difference. That is not a big sample size. It's not a big difference yet. Think about the conversation here. We've seen Brock Purdy, but we haven't seen Trey Lance. It's a 2.5 game difference.
Mm-hmm. Also,
you see the mentality. You see the what goes on.
Also,
so we gotta like put this into real perspective.
Also, I want to point out something that, and I get into a lot of arguments, and I'm just tired of it. Trey Lance in the games this season, did not have Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy did. And you saw how Brock Purdy really helped the offense get better. And I'm not saying that because of, McCaffrey, the offensive line at that point in the season was meshing together, because earlier that offensive line was not good, but the offense started, and then Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, they became good safety blankets. So we have to understand one thing, and I will continue to say this. If Trey Lance has Christian McCaffrey and he's the guy, I'm not going to be like, all right, see, Trey is good, because whoever the quarterback is, Darnold, Purdy, or Lance, has a good offensive cast around him. Mm-hmm. So if Purdy's healthy and he's the guy and he continues to roll, and again, I'm not trying to say Purdy is trash, we have a good team. If Trey is there and we have a good team. So our quarterbacks, whoever is going to be surrounded with a good offensive cast. So let's not say that Purdy is like Patrick Mahomes, and let's not do this. That's the reality.
Let's not forget that everybody wants to say that Trey Lance didn't play with CMC and Kittle, but you know what? Purdy didn't play with. I'm sorry. He didn't play with Debo for like 5 months, or 5 weeks. So I mean, let's consider that too.
But at the end of the
Okay.
day, let's be honest with ourselves. There's a lot of good players on that offense. Ayuk is not horrible. Jennings not horrible. And Debo, people have their opinions. He's not horrible. Kittle's not horrible. So it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. Okay. And you
So-
have Trent Williams on your blind side. So no matter what anyone says, like Purdy was a product, and even other fan base that I collaborate with say the same thing. My quarterback was Daniel Jones. My quarterback, got hurt. Kyler Murray. My quarterback was Justin Fields on a horrible team. Put those offensive weapons on those three examples. I'm just saying, any quarterback will look really good with a really good team. So I want to point that out.
I said that earlier. Yeah.
So for me, guys, the reason I'm saying he needs to be pushed, I think everybody needs to be pushed. I think when you feel comfortable and you think, oh man, my job's not up for grabs, that's when you start slipping. I think that's happened with every player. You can look back at Joe Montana. We've had other quarterbacks that was help pushing him before Steve. Then when Steve came, Steve and Joe pushed each other. For me, I was the third string quarterback in my high school team. I noticed that the second string quarterback wasn't pushing the starter because the starter was the starter, right? There was no reason he's not going to be the starter until his arm separated. And then the second string quarterback went in and he couldn't do anything except hand off. And then they didn't even look at me. I'm the third string quarterback, but I'm so short. They just looked right over my helmet and kept looking down the line. So we lost those games after that quarterback got his shoulder separated. So for me to say, hey, we need to push Brock. We need somebody to push Brock. Yes, because when you have somebody pushing you, this is a game, right? We are competing. We are competing to be the best, right? At the end of the day, if you can't handle competition, then you probably shouldn't be playing football, right? If somebody has to comfort you and say, oh, and coddle you a little bit, maybe you're not playing, right? So for me to say we need somebody to push him is to get the best out of him. I'm not saying we haven't got the best out of him, but I'm definitely thinking we need to push him. For me, when he came into the game a couple years ago at the Cardinal game and we ran him like a running back instead of even throwing it, I kept thinking to myself, I said, why aren't we throwing the ball at all? Like, why? And then he did throw the ball a couple times and they were like lasers. And I thought, this guy's like throwing like Kaepernick. And I got a little soured on it, but I still believed in the guy, right? Because I seen a couple of plays earlier in the season, he came in against Detroit and he threw that touchdown and everything was great, right? Well, I'm like, or no, he didn't throw. Was it he threw the touchdown and he ran the one in for Green Bay.
Detroit. Yeah, we threw a touchdown. Yeah, he ran it in Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was at the Green Bay game out here in Santa Clara. So we all pumped, right? But then it comes out later in the season that his finger was broken. And his finger was broken from preseason. So, okay, you're like, okay, well, now, Kyle, you're forgiven, right? Because you called a bunch of running back plays, and we couldn't understand that. I mean, when Trey ran to the corner and he dove, and the Cardinals both knocked him out of, he was right there on the one, and he almost got in the end zone. He almost won that game for us. What if he would have won that game, right? Well, then the next game he was supposed to play, and I believe it was against the Colts. And it would have been a tsunami rainstorm, but he didn't play, and Jimmy came back in. They said he didn't come back in because of his knee injury. He injured his knee. Well, why did he injure his knee? He was running the whole game, right? But he still almost won it. And this is why I slam my hand a lot, because if we would not have forced those runs as much, if you guys watched that game, and we would have kicked field goals instead of going for it on fourth down, we would have came out even just a couple points. Field goals matter, right? So sometimes I know we want to score touchdowns and stuff like that, but if you kick a field goal and you win by 3 or you win by 1, there is no half a point unless the team doesn't show up on the side, right? So you win, right? So for me, I want to see Trey pushed. I want to see him pushed to his potential. When I heard about him getting drafted a couple years ago, or them scouting and hearing he threw 49 touchdowns, 1 interception, I'm like, whoa, and then for me, I think Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, and it's the same college he came from, and I'm like, whoa, this we might have something here, right? But it goes back. It really does. It goes back to what we were trying to do at the time. We had a Super Bowl team. We still have a Super Bowl team. We have a window. We just need one position solidified. And it matters. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter sometimes, because when you have a quarterback on one side of the field, it doesn't matter what your defense is. If you have that quarterback, it does not matter what your defense is. But then at the end of the game, you know, you got people like Aaron Rodgers. You even have Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, who lost Super Bowls because their defense wasn't that good, right? And we could say if he didn't have a kicker, he would have lost Super Bowls too, right?
Because of him.
So,
Yep.
you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to see Trey come out. I want to see him get all the position and starts that he can, but I don't want him to be given and he doesn't want it to be given to him either. He wants to earn it and take it, and that's what I admire the most out of Trey Lance. But if he comes out and he's not the guy, hey, I'm sorry, my Robbie Gold jersey is still in the shopping cart. I'm gonna just wait until, you know, it doesn't sign. You know, until then, yeah, hey, if he turns out, and I'm gonna say it too, I'm not buying another starting quarterback jersey for the 49ers until they win a Super Bowl. I have a Steve Young, I have an Alex Smith, I have a Jimmy Garoppolo. My daughter has a Kaepernick. I'm not buying another quarterback until they win a Super Bowl. It's going to be what it is. I recommend everybody, if you don't have one, buy you a personalized jersey. If you're a fan of this team, they can cut you and they can't trade you. So that's my thought.
So I have a question about buying jerseys. Like, to me, growing up, you only bought the jerseys of the positions you wore. Is that a myth? Because I seem to be as a myth lately.
I got the Steve Young jersey because I got hit. I got hit when I was going to school one time, and I almost got killed by a construction truck. It knocked the back of me out. My head got dented in pretty bad. And at the time, they said if it would have went in one more piece of binder paper, I would have had brain surgery. So the first thing that happened to me, you know, I woke up at the hospital, you know, freaked out, right? You know, because nothing ever like that ever happened to me. And I was freaking out. Well, my parents were there and they were very happy I was there. My dad said, man, you got hit so hard. You look like, you know, Steve Young out there. And I was like, whoa, you know, and then like they hand me this jersey, you know, like, I don't know, maybe a little bit later in the day or something. And it was a Steve Young jersey. And he was my favorite player. He'd been my favorite player for a long time. And it was about in 1999 or 98, I got hit by the truck. So, yeah, I think it was 98. So he was my favorite player. I did play quarterback when I was, you know, outside and stuff like that. You know, I thought I was a superstar, right? So you have that, and I guess it is true a little bit. But for Steve Young, he means a whole lot to me. He's had his own injuries and stuff, and you know, to me, that's my guy, my favorite player. So every quarterback after that, you know, I've always held them to his standards, and they haven't really necessarily held up or got to that point. So I guess yes, Steve, I would say yeah. For me, I go after the positions and the jerseys that I've played. I don't have any other jerseys. They're all quarterbacks.
All right. So, okay. So let's talk about the good 49ers teams from the past for a moment. Bill Walsh. Every offseason, the starting position, every position was an open competition.
Mm-hmm.
We won 4 Super Bowls doing that. So, you know, this current team, I don't think anybody should be handed anything. Doesn't matter where you were drafted. None of that matters. Don't hand anybody anything. Make them earn their job.
Trey Lance was handed it last year, though.
Across the board, every position, not just the QB.
Was he handed it, or did he outperform Brock Purdy and the other guy in camp? Who was the best quarterback in camp?
Trey Lance last season was named the starting QB before we actually even started OTAs.
Correct.
Right. Wait a minute.
Am I wrong?
Wait a minute. Wait. Quick note of reference. It was reported that they wanted to start Trey Lance in 2021 based on what they saw, but he was injured, so he couldn't go. So with that report, if he outperformed James, does that mean he earned it?
Okay, well, I'm glad you're calling him James because, you know, that's what I do too.
Yeah, no. You got to earn your nickname in my book. I'm old school. You can't just walk in. I'm Jimmy G. You haven't done anything. You're James.
I mean,
all the reports that I saw, it was all over the place for his rookie year. It was an absolute mess. I was discarding everything because of all the speculation and everything going on. But I also remember the report from Kyle Shanahan saying Jimmy G is our starter going into this season. Yeah, he said that again before OTAs started, which at this point, I'm putting this all on Kyle. You got to quit handing it to people, quit naming them. Let's do the open competition every position and push everybody, not just one player, everybody, the whole team.
I'm with you. I'm on that Walsh mentality too.
Yeah,
No
but that's
one's,
not why we lost the Super Bowl.
I mean, they need to earn the jobs at least, like I would think draft some other guys who can definitely compete too. Like you look at the tackle spot, isn't McKivitz actually given the job? I think based by the experience, but if we still get somebody that can push them over for that job, that'd be nice. But under my reports, under my understanding, man, Spencer says he's not even expected to play tackle from what he told me. So he's going to stick at guard.
and a guard. Okay.
That's what he told me personally, but he said he's trying to add some more muscle and weight. So I think that's where they keep him at. I mean, sometimes stuff kind of gets misleading, but I think McKivitz has already been the guy that everybody's been talking high about. So he's pretty much the guy they really like.
Yeah. But we never know. They might draft a rookie and he might impress and earn the job,
There's a couple
exactly it. We don't know what we're going to do in the draft yet.
There's a couple of guys I like in the draft that I've been doing my due diligence on, and Wanya Morris from Oklahoma is one of those prototypical linemen that's kind of built like Trent Williams. He can play the right side.
Come on.
Oh, come on. But, dude, you got to see his work. I got his highlight films and all that. But there's a couple of other guys I checked out. There's this kid from Oregon. He can play different spots. TJ Baz, whatever his name is. And then there's a couple of other guys I've been doing due diligence. But the center, we're not going to probably get at all. I think we'll probably just either let Zakel develop slowly, I guess.
Yeah, we'll start Brendel and let Zakel develop in the background.
Yeah, I had to check out a couple more tackles, but but the one from BYU is the one that I would probably prefer to trade up for, if I'm being honest. Like, he's like more of a fit. I would have preferred that.
He's what we look for in an offensive lineman. That's why I'm thinking that we'll trade up, and he's more than likely who we'd be trading up for.
Oh,
but
dude,
it depends on if he's even still available. Some team could go buck wild and pick him in the first round.
Yeah, but the guy from Oklahoma, the other one's a good fit too. I've heard a lot of good reports about him. Like before he pulled his hamstring, he looked really good. He might drop down the draft board. He was considered a mid-second round pick, but he might slide down a little bit because of the hamstring or whatever happened on the stock. And then there's a guy from Ohio State that's pretty big, but we ain't going to get him. That dude's like almost 400 pounds, but moves like a damn. I haven't seen a tackle like that probably since, what's that dude's name? Since we had Trent Brown. That dude's a massive guy. Big dude. Sure. 6'8", 370 pounds, moves fast. The guy from Ohio State, that dude's a big dude.
Trent Brown was huge.
Yeah, he was big too, but this guy is 6'8", almost 400 pounds, bro. Moves very athletic for his size. Like, I think he runs a 5.35 or something. Not bad, and he moves quick. Forget about getting past him, bro. You're done. That dude is like the Incredible Hulk, bro. That you ain't getting past that guy. He's like a brick wall, right? Forget about it.
Yep.
Well, real quick,
I like that.
I think everybody knows CG. Thank you for coming in. Ty, if you don't know CG, he's the guy next to you. And appreciate you coming in. And CG, let me ask you real quick. We've all been talking for a little while, but I want to ask you the one question that everybody else is really probably the best question of the day. I think Ty asked it. Why does Trey Lance need to be pushed?
Well, because is it because Shanahan gave him the job? I don't know, man. Like, it's because the pressure, bro, because he was the highly draft pick, but I think he has a lot to prove. I think Sam Darnold was insurance policy, but maybe Sam Darnold can push, bro. I think it wasn't fair for Sam Darnold. Like Darnold didn't have a fair career when he first started with the Jets. Terrible situation. The Carolina Panthers, the last season, bro, he was 4-1 or something. The last games he started.
Or 5-2, something like that. He played
Somewhere
pretty good.
around there. But he wasn't given a fair chance. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about Sam Darnold, but everybody's hyping him. I think he might make a strong push. I don't know. It's like I'm skeptical, but I'm hoping that Trey can prove it, bro, because we put a lot of money on. We put a lot of draft capital on this kid.
Yeah, I really do too. I hope he can prove it too. But I definitely think competition makes you better, because when you
Absolutely.
when you just think, hey, I got the job, nobody else is, it doesn't matter what the boss says to me, like I'm untouchable. That's when you stop listening to other people, I think. And I think that's when you stop altogether, because it's all about you, right? Well, guys, if you guys have any other questions, we'll go around the table real quick. I have a joke.
All right, I'll ask you one question. I'll ask you the question about a kicker, man. So I looked at a couple of kicker options besides Robbie Gould. I don't know about this one, but this guy's the one who missed extra points, but he can kick the 60-yarders. I don't know about Brett Maher. You think he might be a camp body to bring in or nah?
No.
Bring in Jake Moody after that in the draft. Get competition, I guess.
That's a negative on that guy that missed so many kicks in that playoff game. That's a negative.
No, but there's another guy.
Playoff game. He's been missing them throughout the year. He's got the yips. And it's
No, but there's that. There's
until they turn into long yips.
No, but there's that one guy from the Carolina Panthers I'm hearing about, if we can get him on a cheaper deal. Eddie Pernero, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, I heard about him.
I honestly, I'm still like, Jake Moody might be gone by the time we're ready to pick a kicker, but I say let Adam Peters cook and find a guy from a small school that no one's ever heard of.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like option wise, man. We don't even know who's going to compete for that spot. So it's like camp body wise. I mean, that part of that guy won't even make it, but always got to have options, man.
I think with us having 11 picks, and we're not going to use all 11 picks, we need to try to look at again what our offense looks like and our team overall looks like, and try to fill those holes in free agency. Moving from free agency, I think draft needs to be best player available. If we need to move up for a right tackle, maybe we should combine some picks and do that. I think really we have don't go to Vegas and bet what I'm going to say, but I think there's a good possibility that we get a kicker with the third round. It's a comp pick.
I think fifth round. I think a fifth round's more likely for us. I think we'll probably get one.
But hear me out, right? We used a fourth for Mitch Wisnowski. We have 3 third-round comp picks. If you don't pull the trigger on Jake Moody, he's probably going to be gone in the 4th or early 5th. So I think we're either going to go running back, third-round comp pick, or going kicker. And I don't want running back, so I'm hoping they listening to me right now, because
please don't pick a running back.
If you get Moody,
I would rather get a kicker than get a running back in the early rounds. I mean, I would think 102 would probably be fine. Maybe we can take a chance on a kicker there. I mean, but dude, that's too high. I'm not too big on drafting kickers too high, man. Like the Raiders did that approach in quite a few teams, but dude, come on, you can always wait in the late rounds to get a kicker, but sometimes they're always good with those long.
Look at Sebastian Janikowski, and you cannot say that number 1 draft pick did not count. He paid for himself. He paid for that position. He earned that number 1 pick. That dude, Porky Pig. That's every time he came out on the the field, a little pot belly, and running out there, and I was like, my dad's a Raider fan, I'd be like, he's gonna make it. My dad, he's gonna make it with his eyes closed, and it'd be like a 65-yarder, 60-yarder, and the times that you missed, you knew he was drinking the night before, and that's probably the. He's a Raider. You go back to Kenny Stabler days.
I mean, dude, like if we're gonna get a kicker, it better be somebody worth the damn pick. I mean, okay, I would rather us stay away from running backs in the early picks, if I'm being honest. But if it's taking a kicker in the early picks, then so be it. At least
take a kicker or anybody like a day 1 starter with a 3rd round pick.
102, yeah, why not? I guess so. If it's going to avoid the running back pick,
Well, guys, we've been here for a minute. I'd like to get going with the rest of our day. I appreciate all of you guys. If you want to come back next Saturday, this is Saturday talk. Morning coffee talk with Bryant and all of my friends. And if you guys,
I mean, you make a good point about it. Like, I think it would be better to get a kicker than get a running back at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. What do we need? And are they gonna really not start a rookie kicker? I mean, like that's one of those positions you can kind of say, I think
they're gonna start.
He's all he's got to do is kick straight, right? So, I mean,
all right. So Jake Moody 102. Then I guess that would be better than getting a running back in that third pick.
You guys have no faith. We're gonna trade up into the second round and get a kicker.
You went deeper on that. No. Seriously, I think here's a hot take. We might even trade one of the guys we have no use for. I think Avery Thomas could be on his way out. I don't know. They don't seem too high on him.
True.
Oh, I thought you was going to say another guy. Where's number 99?
I'm hearing trade blocks too, but I don't see nothing on Avery Thomas.
Well, guys, let me go ahead and say thank you for everybody. Let's give everybody a quick, Steve-O, go ahead and go to Brian, CG, Ty, David. Tell us about your channel. Tell us a little bit about yourself real quick. Tell us about what you're going to do the rest of the day. And, then let me tell you my dad joke, and we're going to get out of here.
Dad joke, yay. So I just want to say, I probably got my patch from Beto, so I want to shout out to Beto and Ty. I got your shirt. I just don't like checking my mail because it's a lot of bad stuff. Anyways, I think this team is pretty solid. The Eagles got really worse. I think we're in a really good position in the NFC, and I wish we would have played Cincinnati when they didn't have a tackle. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, and I think this is our year. Oh, and by the way, so I did some research and we watched some film. Ryan, as you know, I got blocked by Mariah, and I went some research. And, I was talking smack to her half man, and you know what? It was you want to talk about Trey Lance, that's fine, but we have watch. Okay, he ran 13 times, but how many times did you do the wrong read? We can watch film in 20 minutes and we can figure out it is what it is. So I'm going to stand by what I said, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're all friends here, and other people, I'm sure you don't have to be best friends, but, we all love the Niners. We're faithful. And sometimes, opinions don't necessarily match up, but Steve, you support so many people, I mean, don't ever, don't be afraid to, speak what you say, even if it doesn't necessarily agree with me. I mean, you don't have to love my kicker, we'll talk about punters or something. Go ahead, Ryan.
I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. Everybody in the chat. If you feel interested, go ahead and stop by No Border Sports. Do about 2 streams every day on the weekdays and the evenings, whether on my channel or with your favorite YouTubers. So yeah, come on through.
All right. How you doing, CG?
Doing good, man. I do my streams every now and then. I'm going to do the NFL draft interviews. I'm doing prospects here and there. 49ers round check every Monday. NFC West Network, I do every Tuesday. I do a little bit of mix here and there. But most times, I get a lot of quality guesses that come and go. But you guys are more than welcome to ask questions or jump in the streams if they feel like it, man. But it's a fun stream.
All right. Mr. Ty.
Awesome. Hey, Bryant, man, I'm happy you got your channel, man. Thanks for allowing me to come on, talk some talk. This is good stuff. I'm a good guy, guys. Hush, darn dog. I like to get into spirited debates about stuff. As you guys can see, it's nothing malicious. It's just to get some thought-provoking things going on and try to understand different perspectives. So, don't hate me too much when I ask these questions. But CG, I'm going to join your show one day. You just invite me when I'm never available, but we'll make it happen. Steve-O, you support everybody. David, Ryan, you guys are great.
Oh yeah,
I got my own
David's
show,
my guy.
Faithful 101. Yeah, I got my own show, Faithful 101. You
Good
guys
show.
can check it out. I just try to sit down and have one-on-one conversations with people and talk some Niners. And
Yeah.
I love the team. I think this is our year, just like last year. And our Super Bowl window is open for a few more years, I can say. So go Niners.
Yeah, I liked your interview with Matt Miyoko, man. Good interview, man. I thought it was one of your best ones by far.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
that
Ty,
was-
I know you from East Coast Red and Gold, but I tried to find your personal page because I heard you had some content you do on that, and I couldn't find it. So can you tell me the site?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now, and I can't
Yeah,
find
it's
it.
on YouTube. Faithful 101. It's the number one letter O and the number one podcast.
Oh,
Wait,
I
isn't
can
that
put it-
like on your? Isn't that like? I think I found one of your main channels on it too, right? It has the 101 Faithful one, right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I have that one. I think I subscribed to that one.
Yeah, I can put it in the chat too.
Yeah.
The link to it.
Yeah.
If Brian doesn't mind.
Yeah.
yeah. If you put it in the private chat, he can take it and put it in the public chat too for everybody else.
Yeah, he's got a good channel, man. Really good channel. I've seen a lot of his guests and all that stuff, man. You put on some good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Hey,
I
but
try.
yeah, dude, we all do our best to put what we could, man. But
Exactly.
college football, dude, I like college. I like the NFL draft. That's like one of my favorite seasons of the year. No offense to Super Bowl, I just like NFL draft.
What's up, Jess? What's
Just
up,
is in the
Jess?
house.
Hey, you're catching us at the end, but you'll get to hear the best part of the day. It's the dad joke. All right, everybody.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna get ready to end this, but I was at the hospital yesterday and I was leaving, and honestly, the nurse was like, "Oh, you have such a cute baby," and me being snarky and being just the type of person I am. I'm like, I bet you say that to everybody, and she looked back at me and smiled, nurse, and I said, "What do you say to the others?" And they look just like you. So I don't know. I'm still gonna take it with stride. I think I have a beautiful baby, and if it looks like me, well then, hey, I'm beautiful too, right? So everybody, I appreciate that, and Ty's link is in the chat. Let's see,
And for Jon Jay, it's not the Warriors, it's the Lakers.
Was that the dad joke?
That was the dad joke. Yep. And let me put the link down here real quick for Ty's channel. So if anybody wants to go and subscribe to Ty's channel, I highly encourage it. He does a lot of great work. He's on this and he's grinding. And I mean, like Matt Miyoko, there's a lot of other great content creators. Shows you his pod room too. He's got a really nice podcast room. And he also does some work with East Coast Red and Gold, and they're a great show too. So if you guys get a chance, definitely hit him up there. And I mean, he's 10% Ty. If you don't know, you got to ask him. And ask him. Guys, again, thanks for coming, and I hope everybody enjoys their day. Out here in California, it's a little bit still in the morning time. So if you have your cup of coffee, if not, I know Ty, you're on the East Coast, so if you got your beverage, appreciate you coming. Everybody, we're going to try to do this again next week. So if you want, come on back. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I appreciate you all. And we're going to end this here. Go Niners.
Go
All
Niners.
right, go
Niners.
Niners. And one more thing, F the Rams.
Yeah.
F the Raiders. Bam.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
All right.
All right, peace.